Hello. Today I want to talk about dealing with the seeds of doubt. We think it was the Chinese military strategist Sun Tzu who first coined the phrase, "know your enemy." And I think that this is particularly important to bear in mind as we try to navigate the choppy waters of the 21st century. Christians believe that there is an ongoing spiritual battle between good and evil. And the tactic of the enemy, as far as the Christians are concerned, is to sow seeds of doubt into their minds. And I want to just look at two examples of how this can be seen to happen. And they both are to do with the truth of a particular person or situation. So first of all, I want to look at the book of Genesis, the first book of the Bible, right back to the beginning. In the Garden of Eden, we have the protagonists Adam and Eve. God has put them in the garden to work it and to make it fruitful. And God gives a great deal of freedom in their activity, but he says one thing that they need to listen to, which is this: "You may surely eat of every tree in the garden, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat." So a little later on in the narrative, the serpent, who is the personification of evil, comes up to Eve and says, "Did God actually say you shall not eat of any tree of the garden?" I don't know whether you can spot here that there are two things that the serpent does. He firstly questions the reliability of what God said, and then he actually presents that negatively in a different way to the way that God presented it himself, trying to say that none of the trees were allowed the fruit of them to be eaten. So the enemy here is sowing a seed of doubt about the reliability of God in his person and his character. In the second example, I want to use George Gershwin's opera Porgy and Bess. There is a character in the opera called Sportin' Life, who is a drug dealer, and he sings a song called "It Ain't Necessarily So." Sportin' Life's livelihood survives on him selling his drugs. And so he has to maximise the benefit of that livelihood by poking fun and challenging the reliability of the Bible, which holds a good sway in the culture that he's found himself in. One of the phrases in the song is, "The things that you're liable to read in the Bible, it ain't necessarily so." He's sowing the seed of doubt about the reliability of the Word of God in the Bible. And he goes on to say that he thinks that many of the stories are both improbable and boring. In both of these examples, the evil in the world is looking for weaknesses in the armour of the good. So it is my assertion that as a messenger of the good, we need to know our enemy and protect ourselves from him. In the last 2,000 years since the foundation of the Christian faith, there have been constant attacks on both the character and the Word of God. And I believe that it's vital for Christians to be able to differentiate between the genuinely inquisitive and those who are seeking to discredit the Christian faith. So I encourage us all to continue to consider where the links in our armour are.